Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays. Today's episode, I'm going to show you some Brian Depalma. I'm going to show you a trilogy of Brian Depalma films from the past few decades, and I'm going to show you a couple movies by Warren Oates and a Sam Peckinpah movie. So let's get right into it with Mr. Depalma himself, Brian Depalma. 1973, he releases Sisters. I don't want that to reflect on the light. This is a Arrow release. You can see Sisters. And this is a movie starring Margot Kidder, who would later go on to be Lois Lane in Superman, and also stars Charles Durning. I believe he plays a cop in it. But yeah, she plays a dual role as a conjoined twin, or a Siamese twin. And there's some interesting scenes I don't want to give away if you haven't already seen it, but they're bloody. I'll just give you that much. But this is a great release, great Blu-ray release from Arrow Films, continuing my collection of Arrow films of Brian Depalma from Arrow. So there you go, cool stuff. That's from the 70s. Now let's go back to the awesome 80s, and we'll go to 1984 with Body Double. This is a release from the powerhouse UK label Indicator. And this is a new 4K restoration of the 1984 cult classic Body Double, starring, it's got Melanie Griffith and Craig Wasson. Greg Henry also stars in there. It's got some really good photography in there. Actually, the new 4K restoration, it has been approved by DP Steven Burum, so it looks great. It's also got some bonus features, some pulled from the earlier DVD release of it in the early 2000s, but this looks better than ever, and still wrapped. I haven't watched it yet. I saw some previews of it that looked really good, so I can't wait to watch this. So there you go, Body Double from the Indicator label, always putting out great films. Next up we have Brian Depalma from the 90s, and this is a movie called Mission to Mars. Made this in 98, 99, came out. Gary Sinise, Don Cheadle, and it's really interesting that Brian Depalma would make a sci-fi space movie. I think he got a little bit of flack at the time, and I don't think it broke box office records or anything like that. But you have to give it to him. It was interesting. Interesting ideal and stuff. So it's pretty cool. And you can tell I got this from Hollywood Video when they were going out of business. My local Hollywood Video selling stuff, so it's kind of cool. It's got the labels on it and stuff. So yeah, it's an old copy from the late 90s. All right, that wraps that up with that. And right now I'm going to show a couple films from that has Warren Oates in it. Warren Oates was a character actor, most notably in Sam Peckinpah movies. He made appearances here and there. One of his last roles was in Stripes, where he played the drill sergeant, which I thought he was hilarious as the stodgy sergeant. But 1971, he made a movie called Chandler. Now this is from the Archive Warner Brothers collection, and he kind of plays a 1940s detective, down and out, not very popular with the cops, and Leslie Caron hires him to do some investigative work for her. You might know her from her MGM days in the 50s doing musicals and stuff. So yeah, it's an interesting film from the 70s. Again, it's just one of those oddball movies from the 70s. You know, it's on TV and you're like, But see, I've only seen it on TV once and kind of forgot about it. And I really like Warren Oates. I think he's very underrated as an actor and stuff. You know, now, he was in some good movies like Cockfighter. And he played Dillinger. Some roles like that. But most of the time, he was in the back. You know, he's just a character in the background. Had a few lines, a few famous things, most notably with Sam Peckinpah. But there you go, Chandler. Check that out. Next up is a movie that has Warren Oates in it. It's called Blue Thunder. And I really loved this film as a kid. I used to pretend my G.I. Joe Dragonfly helicopter was Blue Thunder. Blue Thunder is like a high-tech military-grade helicopter that the police are trying out, and Warren Oates plays a police captain, sergeant, I believe. It also stars Roy Scheider and I always forget his name, Daniel Stern. Yeah, early role with him in there. So there you go, Blue Thunder. Anybody in the early 40s, mid-40s knows Blue Thunder, man. It was a cool movie back in the day when you were a kid. Like movies like that. So Blue Thunder. And next up, finally, we have a movie, the last movie that Sam Peckinpah would direct. It's the Osterman Weekend, and this is a early Anchor Bay release. And what was cool about this was it had a slipcase on there, which was silvery. Here's the cover. So I thought that was cool. This is a special 2-disc version. Anchor Bay had this series of releases where they were in the DTA audio mix with their Diyimax picture mode or whatever it was in the sound mode. I have a Dawn of the Dead edition like this, but it doesn't have the cool slipcase, which is cool, so I picked that up. I had it on Laserdisc, and but I had to have it on after seeing this. It was so cool and such in good condition too. It's 2 discs, and on the second disc it's got an hour-and-a-half documentary, actually 78 minutes. So I thought that was cool, because it's kind of an interesting movie, being the final movie of Sam Peckinpah. He turned over a new leaf, and he just didn't make it. He had some projects that he was looking at, and he passed away in, I believe, 1984, so a year later he would pass away. Sam Peckinpah is one of my favorite directors, Wild Bunch and stuff, so I mean, he's made a lot of great movies. So that wraps it up, guys. If you liked anything, got any comments, give me some comments in there. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I got a lot of interesting videos to show. Hit that bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up, a like, and I'll see you next time, another episode. Be cool, guys. Watch good films. Later.